All, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show. I am with my next guest for this brand new week named Josiah Shillow. He has a brand new EP that is coming out. We're adding Josiah on the Galaxy Man Show right now. So here's Josiah, and yeah, let's welcome Josiah. I just want to say to people that don't know who you are, Josiah, if you give like a bit of backstory about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the questions with the interview today.
Absolutely. So my name is Josiah Shillow. I'm a performing musician and songwriter, as well as lyrical composer and music producer, native to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So that is my profession.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the very first question. So you have a EP that you wanted to announce in the works. What can you tell people about this brand new EP of yours that is in the works?
Man, this EP is, music is hard to conceptualize as far as it goes into formatting exactly what you want it to be. You can write a million songs, but how do I condense that down into a project? How do I format an EP or an album? And this is the first one that I felt very sure in pushing forward out to the world as an EP. And so the name of the project is Beautiful Sleeper, and I'm just very enthralled with the stories that have unfolded into this 3-song EP. It's definitely something to witness.
So how is this EP going to change you, Josiah, especially as an artist, and especially with this EP that you have planned? What's going to change about you yourself as an artist?
Jacob, I'm actually turning 25 in July, and this music has taken me on such a journey. I've been doing it for so long. This year is a very different year. It's a very big year for music. More stories, more inspiration, more life experiences have been coming to be. And so this EP is just the first step in the direction of much more to come this year, and I promised, there have been empty promises, unfortunately, in music in the past, of myself saying I would put out a single, or I would put out an album or an EP, and that's all preparing to change for 2024.
Yes. Well, on to my very next question. So to people that don't know, how did you start out in the music scene in the first place? What got you wanting to start out in becoming an artist?
Yeah. Music started as a coping mechanism, really, in the beginning. And I was a 14-year-old kid trying to figure out, why two people couldn't stay together, and wondering if I was the issue, if I was the problem. And I just remember as a child, my sister had this radio, and I would sneak it into my bedroom at night, and I would listen to pop radio. I would listen to Coldplay and Taylor Swift, and that's where my love for music began to open up just a little bit more. And as I exercised the gifts and the talents that I possessed through the years, and I became proficient at it, I just had people in my corner encouraging me to follow it relentlessly, and so I did.
So on to my very next question. So what's it like when you perform as an artist? What's it like forming connections? Connection is a huge thing, especially as an artist. What does connection mean to you?
It means everything. It means absolutely everything. Without it, I'm nothing. The people that have invested in me, and the people that come out to the shows, the people that ask me to write with them, these people that text me and ask me their opinions on this song that they've begun producing, it means everything, because music is community. We as artists depend, and in general, with any sort of artistry, we depend on the consumption provided by humanity around us. The people are what feed the fire, and they also fill the pockets. Money is not something that's just given for free. You have to show people that you deserve it, and that you truly have the intention to release your perspective and the best content that you possibly can into the world around you. And so connection to me as an artist is the vital, like it's the life source of everything. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've just made connections, lasting connections with artists, songwriters alike, just by sending them a message. I sent them a voice message on Instagram, and that is what solidified a connection, and it put a name to my face. Oddly enough, I actually ended up having a run-in with Gavin DeGraw
Okay.
in New Orleans about a month ago, and that one interaction that I had with him that evening, I ran into him a little bit later. It was maybe an hour or two later, and he remembered me. Hey, what's going on, Josiah? Those connections are the life source of what it means to be an artist. And I wouldn't suggest to anybody trying to do music, if you're not willing to talk to people, don't do it, because that's what it is.
Awesome. So I'll take my very next question. So if you could work with any top three music artists in the music industry, who would they be and why?
Man, that's a phenomenal question, Jake. Um, I've always said that I would love to write with the lead singer of Lifehouse and The Script.
Okay.
Those bands were so vital to my high school years. They were really what got me through. Listening to the music healed me in such a spiritual and mental and physical way. So I would say those two songwriters and lead front artists of those bands would definitely be two. As for a third, I that's up for grabs. I feel like I'm working with some of the best people right now as it is. Fortunate enough to be in the circle of some people who are being looked at by some labels, and being eyed by the industry. And I just, they collectively would be the third choice, I guess. I wouldn't change anything about who I'm working with right now.
So I'll take my very next question. So if you could go anywhere on tour, especially as an artist, like where would you want to go to and why? Like what, like where would you want to go to in the world?
With the release of this EP happening soon, I've seen uh, so many opportunities. I envision what can be, and I'm also looking to travel this year with my fiance. And we've scoped out a few different places. But man, if I had to be honest with you, with the music, um, there's this one venue that's the dream venue. It's the place I would want to play, and I would consider myself to have made it if I play this. Red Rocks. It's the
Okay.
amphitheater in Colorado. They actually have the seating arrangements carved out of the mountainside, and the Goo Goo Dolls have played there. You have a lot of pop artists that have played there. I think that would mark the definition of what it means to have found success as an artist, and that would be the place I would want to be.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So if you could give your younger self advice on looking back over your time in the music industry career, like what advice would you give to your younger self? And if you could travel in time and space and go to any decade in time and space, what decade would you want to go to and why?
Take me back to 2000, because
Okay.
that was such an era for that timeline of music that I grew up on. And just like pop music was finding a place in such an odd way. It was a cross between alternative music and pop, and you were having these bands come out, but you had people that were actually telling a story. It's hard to find in music, for me at least. I consider it, I'm a very selective type of listener. Finding a story in the music is so difficult today, you know, and I look at some of the artists that have released music recently. I don't discriminate towards any particular type of music at all. So, I mean, Joyner Lucas, you know, has an album that just dropped yesterday, and I've been dying to listen to that one, you know, but I mean, take me back to 2000 and I'll just rock with the vibe there. Um, as far as it's concerned with, man, I forgot the first part of the question. If I could give my younger self advice, staying committed, you know, staying committed and finding, you know, I wish I could have understood off the bat that it's a business, you know, it really is. Marketing yourself, pitching yourself as an artist, your creativity is nothing by itself. Creativity is the life of everything. But if you don't have anybody to show it to, then, you know, and that's what you want to do. Some people are content with just having their the special thing and then just having it to themselves. But if you're a person that has to expose it to the world around you, you know, if you don't understand the business of how that works, then there's absolutely no way that it'll reach the amount of people that you want it to reach, or the particularly targeted groups of people that you want it to reach. You know, I could go play for a room of 50 people, and if two people walk up to me afterwards and they have something to say about the show. I've experienced this recently, actually, at two of my last performances. You know, I had this gentleman come up to me, and he had been paralyzed on the right half of his body from his waist up. And so he told me his story, and he said, "Man, your music is just so healing, and it feels so authentic, and it resonates with me, you know." And I think that if I could go back and give myself the proper advice, I would say pursue it with everything. You know, make way, do what you have to do to where you're able to keep intact the relationships that you have with the people you love around you, but don't compromise. Do not compromise for anything. You know, pursue the dream with everything that you have, because it becomes a hobby, and then it becomes an infatuation. But after the infatuation, you have to carry it out. Otherwise, it'll remain a dream. Make it a business and follow it through to the end.
Yes. So on to my very next question. So if you could give upcoming artists advice on wanting to start out in the music industry, what advice would you give to upcoming artists?
Man, you know, I had a piece of information that came to me um, yesterday. I was doing dishes in the kitchen, and I was thinking, you know, I have this project that I've been sitting on, the Beautiful Sleeper project. I've been sitting on it for a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point, and uh, I wish I hadn't rushed trying to, you know, get it out, because I think that if you rush good art, then people can tell. People will tell that it's rushed, and um, you know, planning falls apart. Not everything is in our control. Nothing's in our control. You know, and it's just better to accept that and adapt to the situations, as opposed to trying to just fight to make something happen. So if I were to give advice to any other artist around me, you know, up and coming like myself, I would really say, um, just have patience. Work relentlessly, but have patience, and be sure that you love it as much as you love anything else. You know, because what that love inside of you that you possess for it will determine is how far you will go with it. You know, I could have, I don't know, I could have all the opportunities I want to, but if I don't step out, even in fear and in faith that something could happen, then they mean nothing. You know, so just giving everything that you have, making sure that you have a love for it that's unlike any other. You know, and just following that as a business.
On to my very next question. So, well, like, what are like the positive and negative side into the music industry, and how do you get through those like negative moments as an artist?
Man, I'll tell you that actually I've experienced being on the negative end of things in the music industry, as well as being the negative end for others in the music industry. When money isn't coming through and you need money for the resources in order to create the art, you can do things that you wouldn't commonly do, that you wouldn't want to do. You can treat people in certain manners that they don't deserve to be treated. And so just I've experienced bias. I've had people walk up to me because I am a black artist, but I don't play music that black artists do here in the South. And so I've had people approach me, hey, can you play this song by this artist? And they're I'm not much of a cover artist as it is. I'm expanding now. I'm finding in 2024 I'm learning more songs for others to be able to witness and be entertained by what I have. But if you're asking me to play something that sounds more black, then it's not exactly the most attractive thing for me to hear, because music isn't something that's black and white. It's for all people. And so um, that's definitely been a negative that I've faced. A positive is meeting the people that I have met. I'm currently working with a few different artists from a few different corners of the world. I have somebody I'm working with in New Zealand, and I have somebody I'm working with out of Nashville. And then I have people that I know in LA. These are different things that definitely give me that fire. They ignite that a little bit, and they boost the confidence, because whenever somebody says you're good at what you do and they send you to somebody else, you can't help but just feel good about it.
So on to my very last question for you, Josiah. So like, what's next for you goal-wise, like that you would like to announce on the show? If you would like to announce anything else?
Yeah, man. So Beautiful Sleeper, right? It is coming out. I do not have a date just yet, but it will be coming out in the next month, or it will be up for pre-save in the next month. I'll definitely be tending to that and keeping the audience well aware of the happenings on that. And there might be some merch. There might be some merch that comes out as well. So we'll see what happens there. But I really just encourage people watching this, just keep an eye out, for what this year has to hold. This is a very weird time in the world, but it's also a very exciting time for music. So keep an eye out.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time, Josiah, for joining my show again as a guest. Everyone, if you're not following Josiah, definitely go show him the love and support. Get behind more artists like Josiah. We need more inspiring artists like Josiah in this world. Any last final thoughts that you'd like to share to people on the show, Josiah?
Absolutely. Man, Jacob, I just want to thank you directly for taking the time to interview me. And the people, the people that have jumped in, some of these people I didn't expect to jump in and watch. It's just been such a pleasure having you on board and being able to witness and hear the vision that I have for the music, and just hear a little bit about the story. If you're not following, Galaxy Man Show, please, go follow it, because there are a lot of great videos of content on there that Jacob is having come out and being pushed. So I appreciate the time again. Thank you so much, Jacob.
You're very welcome.